Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video, and this is another event kind of walkthrough guide and explanation of how it works and the intricacies that go along with it. So just about an hour ago, the Labyrinth Warriors event was released, and if we jump up to the event screen, we have it right here. Now this one can be quite overwhelming and confusing, but I'm just going to run down a fair few of the kind of actual intricacies with the event and how it works in the actual Labyrinth. But before that, let's talk about the rewards. So from this whole event, you can gain one constellation or one copy of Xinyan, the Blazing Rift, which is quite cool. But first you have to see here that we have to complete the Path of Taisho, which is one of the quests that go along with the event. And you also need to accumulate 4,000 aged tokens in total. And then you need to spend 1,000 on her. Much like the Beto, when we got her for her event, the Thunder Sojourn, the same thing here. You just need to accumulate and do a few prerequisites and you'll be able to get her. Going over to the event shop though, we can buy a fair few things here with a currency that you get throughout the event. As you're doing it, you'll get this currency. I'll get into that in a bit later though. You can get a Crown of Even Sight, which is only one of them, which is quite good. And as well, you can get the blue variants of the fragments for Character Ascension. But there are two tabs here though, which is this shop is unlocked at a later date, seeing as here it doesn't have, it's not available yet, it doesn't tell you when though. Here you can buy some Primo Gems, doesn't really say how many, but you can maybe 5 copies of it. You can get maybe 300 Primos from this, but you also get a lot of the talent upgrades from, Inazuma, which is quite good as well, and Hero's Wit, Mystic Ore Enhancement, and more. This is the as per usual event shop. Those aren't the only rewards. If we jump into here and go to Martial Trial, or Martial Trial, we have a bunch more challenges that we can do to get even more rewards. And so these are things that you'll just be achieving throughout doing your runs of the Labyrinth. This is nothing that you really have to strive towards at the start, but if you have some uncompleted near the end of the event, I recommend you jump into them and try to do them. But they're as simple as defeating 200 opponents, 50 indestructible objects, 50 explosive barrels, obtain a total of 10 safeguarding spirits that provide attack buffs and healing effects, drawing different charms, upgrading charms, and then completing certain trials without using any curative emplacements, or defeat the Vengeful Wood with no more than 6 party members. Simple stuff like that. These aren't actually very difficult. They'll just take time with the releasing of the challenges. But that's pretty much all the rewards that are there. Obviously, each time you come and complete one, you'll have a small reward here for your first clear of each trial. But that is about it. You get a few rewards here, like Hero's Wit and some of these things. But that's about it. Now going into how the actual event works. Now, it's probably one of the more complex events out there because it has a lot more intricacies and it's a lot more in-depth. But the general gist of it is that you have these 3 tabs here. And what these mean, the third one actually doesn't mean anything. I think this one's mainly for storytelling purposes, the third tab. So what you're going to want to focus on is these first 2 tabs. Now, if we go back and we go into an actual trial and we say proceed to trial, or rather we have to walk through the door, so here we go. When you walk through the door, you'll enter this, and you'll be greeted with this screen here. You want to proceed to trial, and you'll be given this menu. Here you can create your team, and I think the label of combat and support is kind of wrong, because you can really use whatever characters you want. All this means is that they're interchangeable. You just want to choose 8 of your strongest characters and go into this like that. Where you want to go next is though, carry Shiki Fuda. You want to go here, but if you're first time doing this, you won't have any here. And you want to go into this menu and you want to just pick which ones you like. Now these are all different buffs. Here you got a massive damage bonus, but you also take more damage. Here you have cooldown reduction. This is attack speed and movement speed. And these last 3 here, these 2 here, you summon a Hydro and a Cryo Guoba pretty much. And this last one is a bit of a Venti Elemental Burst. And these bottom 3 are just kind of utility. Read them at your own will, really. But this is what you're going to want to select. You're going to want to select 3 that you like or you really want to have fun with. I didn't end up using too many of these in my first run, so maybe these are just to power boost if you're a bit weaker. The one that I do recommend is the Strix Wind Summoning, because that is a Venti ultimate. That is very useful. But choose them at your own will. That's neither here nor there. These are a small buff that you can use throughout they're on-use items. I should clarify that. They are on-use items, and you have 3 charges per item, and you can recharge them in the run randomly. But with these things out of the way, and obviously they're strong and all, you have this menu here, which can be quite overwhelming, because you're shown this menu before you actually go into a run. Now, what this menu is because this event is like a rogue-like dungeon crawler, which, for example, is something like Hades or Binding of Isaac, or even if you've played Minecraft Dungeons. This is what it's like. And these are buffs to things that can happen mid-run. And so, for instance, here you have, when drawing a charm, the chance of drawing a high-grade charm is increased by 12%. Pretty much after you defeat a room or an enemy room, you will have a chance, or you will get a charm, and this right here just increases the chances of it being a high-grade charm. You have different things like safeguarding spirits increased. You have maximum destructible objects increased, because there's certain things to interact with destructible objects. You have, when redrawing a charm, there's a 100% chance that you will be refunded the battered Shikifuda. So these are the mid-run buffs that you'll be going through, and how you upgrade these is by using this material here, the damaged replica, and you get these by actually doing the runs. So it's another one of those events, much like the original mechanical Theater Mechanicus, sorry, beg my pardon. It's like the original Theater Mechanicus, where you had to play it, go back and refine, and then play it some more, refine your turrets, play some more, refine your turrets. It's that kind of, you have to play it more to get better at it. But obviously, some things are time gated, so you can't go above and beyond. Much like here, you have to wait two days, or pretty much till the next quest is released, to upgrade this any further. And this is pretty much how that works. There's a few things here that you might want to read to see if you want, but for the most part, you're kind of time gated and whatnot. So there's no real rush to do anything too early. Now jumping into the actual domain, which I'm not going to do a run of in this video. If you want to see a full run of it, where I just go hard and try to complete a run as fast as I can, I'll have that uploaded later today. Stay tuned for that if you're interested. But jumping into here to explain a bit more of how the layout works and how it is a dungeon crawler, is if you press here, you'll obviously get a bit of a tutorial, but if you press U, you'll be able to see exactly what I mean by that dungeon crawler, going through room, seeing exactly what you have. And on the side here, you have a key telling you exactly what you have to encounter. So you have this here is an arrayed emplacement, then you have a ferocious one, curative, a charm, chest, decisive emplacement. Decisive emplacement is the boss. The chest is just in that room. There is one chest. Charm emplacement is just going to the center of the room and selecting a charm from different rarities. Curative emplacement is an area where you can swap your characters or heal them all to full. Ferocious emplacement is just a combat room where you can select the difficulty, and the arrayed emplacement is a standalone difficulty of about medium. And so that's pretty much the layout of this, and they're not random per se. The first time you do it, it will be random. You won't know what you're encountering, but this layout here, this is the same layout that I had for the first time. The very interesting thing is, when you come into this little icon here, you can click and you can get the enemy lineup. Now, this is a bit overwhelming to see. You might think, oh, am I fighting all these enemies in one room? Not exactly. The rundown of this is that you have Ruin Graders who are going to be at the end of every run. So you have this guy here is going to be a Ruin Grader. And then at level 2, which is after you kill this guy, you go through another portal where you have to do a different layout of rooms again. And then you have to get to the end, and that will be the Ruin Grader as well. But what this list of enemies right here means, and this massive list of enemies, is wherever you find an arrayed emplacement, a ferocious emplacement, you will find any assortment of these enemies. So let's say you go up to a ferocious one, you might just encounter a bunch of these Kairagi here. It's just all Kairagi. But then you go to another one and you might just encounter only treasure hoarders. So that is what that means. It's just the potential enemies that you'll be encountering in that run through the ferocious things, but the bosses are always going to be Ruin Graders with potentially some extra enemies. I do believe the first Ruin Grader has some mechanical arrays with him. Obviously, these other tabs to the right, or sorry, left here, my left, you can see which curses and charms you've obtained. Charms are the productive things that boost your damage, and curses can be a bit harmful to your gameplay, like prevents one character from being healed, something like that. But if you drop down here, you can see the trial rewards, and this tells you exactly how many things you'll be getting per whatever. So activate the random placement and complete the challenge. You get 40 of these tokens, and then 80 for a ferocious, 120 for a ferocious. But see here, as it says ferocious and placement, complete the serious challenge. That is the two different difficulties that you can select. So you have the serious difficulty and the dire difficulty. The serious one is easier than the dire, but you get different rewards for doing the different difficulties. I recommend doing all of them on dire because it's actually not that hard. I have all my characters kind of just blitzing it and kind of really quickly doing it, and obviously this is just how you get all those different materials. I should also note that the Battle Pass has had its own quests for the event added. Obviously up here you can see them yourself. Upgrade Charm, Magic, and Unity to max level during the Warriors Labyrinth event. Clear Omniscience Descents during the Labyrinth Warriors event without using any curative emplacements, which you can actually do right now. That's the first one, the Ominous Demescence, whatever that actually says. Just don't use any heal stations. And then Clear Vengeful Wood during the Labyrinth Warriors event with a party size no larger than 6. They're all very simple challenges, but again, they will take time because well, it's a lengthy event. I think one of these runs takes about, let's say, 30 minutes at most. Let's say 15 if you're being really quick. But if it's your first time, take your time. There's no real rush doing it, and just explore to your heart's content. That has been kind of my overview and summary of everything to do with the Labyrinth Warriors event. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me just leave this trial really quickly. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. This one is me explaining how the event works because there's a lot of intricacies to do with it. Later today, I'll be recording myself doing a run of this first challenge here, the Ominous Descents or Dements, whatever it's called. I'll be doing that, showing you guys just me doing it at a quick pace. I'm not going to be really talking through it, and if I am, it's just kind of pointing out a few things. I'm going to try to speed on it, see what time I can get, and just showing you guys how it works. But for now, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the like button. Also subscribe. Ring the bell, maybe, to stay notified. And I'll see you in the next one. Have an amazing day, and peace out.